So good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Natrona County Planning and Zoning Commission. And we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So as far as introductions, my name is Hal Hutchinson. I'm the chairman. To my left is Commissioner Chad McNutt. He's the vice chairman. To my immediate right is Commissioner Kevin Christopherson. On around the way is Commissioner Ken White. On around the way is our attorney, Ashley Smith, Deputy County Attorney. And on the far end is Sabrina Kemper, Development Director. So everyone in the audience should be aware, should be informed, the commission is an advisory board for the Natrona County Commissioners. Our decisions are subject to approval, conditional approval, denial, or modification by the Board of County Commissioners. For each application on the agenda, and there are 2 items on the agenda tonight, we will hold an official public hearing. The hearings are recorded, and there will be written minutes of the meeting. After this commission holds a public hearing, unless an application is tabled or withdrawn, the Board of County Commissioners will hold another public hearing for the application. All right. I think we can dispense with the rest of this for now. First thing on the agenda is consideration of the minutes of the January 13th, 2026 meeting minutes. Has commissioners had a chance to look at the minutes? And if so, Chair would entertain a motion for consideration.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to consider the minutes.
I would second that.
So that's for approval, did I hear?
For approval.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as prepared. Any discussion, changes, anything? All right, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as prepared. Okay, the first real case tonight is MS 25-02, the Christensen edition. And I guess first we'll have to untable the application. But the Christensen edition is a major subdivision request made by Dan Christensen to vacate and replat Lot 1 of the Meadow Acres Number 4 simple subdivision, creating 2 separate 5-acre lots. The property is located approximately 12 miles east of Casper with 3 potential access roads: Happy Glen Lane, Foxborough Trail, and Silver Sage Lane. Pending approval, the property owner wishes to sell 2 lots for residential use. The property is currently zoned Rural Residential 1. With that, Sabrina, may we have a staff report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. As you mentioned, this is a major subdivision request made by Dan Christensen to vacate and replat Lot 1 of the Meadow Acres Number 4 simple subdivision, creating 2 5-acre lots. Pending approval, the owner wishes to sell the 2 lots for residential use. The property is located approximately 12 miles east of Casper with 2 potential access roads: Happy Glen and Silver Sage. It is zoned rural residential, which has a minimum of 5-acre lots. The current use is vacant residential. The surrounding zoning is all rural residential as well. Did we untable this?
We haven't yet. I was wondering if we need to do that now or after your report.
If you want to go ahead and do that now.
All right, so we have a tabled application before us today. Chair would entertain a motion to untable the application for the discussion.
I move that we untable MS 21-02 for consideration.
25.
Did I say 25-02?
I'd second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Consider untabled.
Thank you. I was trying to pay attention to that now. There's general standards for a simple subdivision and the major subdivision. Division of land is into 2 or more parcels of 140 acres or less and not classified as a simple subdivision. The general criteria for approval was listed in your packet. Those were also reviewed at the last meeting when we tabled this the first time, unless you want me to read those again. I'm going to go ahead and skip through. Okay. Planning considerations, County Road and Bridge does not have any issues with this major subdivision and therefore does not have any comment. We added a few more maps on this slide. I think there was a little confusion last time, so we tried to make sure that everyone was aware of where everything's at on this. County Fire does not have a problem with this subdivision. The Natrona County Health Department reviewed the plat and stated that soils appear to be sandier per the USDA web soil survey, which could lead to faster percolation rates. A faster percolation rate could require a professionally engineered designed system, but the nearest neighboring systems appear to be conventional designs, making the engineered design less likely. Septic systems will need to maintain setbacks from neighboring wells, which we do not have locations for. There's a dry creek bed running through the north end of the proposed lots, and septic should be installed at least 50 feet from the bed. Septic placement is likely possible on both lots, but cannot be guaranteed on any lot. Septic system approval will be contingent on placement, a silt trench percolation test, and application packet. Natrona County GIS reviewed and accepted the plat. The Natrona County Assessor Mapping reviewed and found no issues with the plat. The County Surveyor reviewed and accepted the plat after appropriate corrections were made. The County Road Records Department reviewed and found no issues with the plat. And the County Conservation District did not comment. Staff sent notices to 19 surrounding neighbors. As of the date of this report, staff has not received any written comments. This is for the floodplain. It is close to the floodplain on the north side of the lots. It does appear to have plenty of space to stay out of the floodplain for building. So when we tabled this last November, easements were the topic of consideration. So we dug into our easements, and I don't know if you guys want me to read all this about the easements and how it can go through, but it was in your packet specifically on the gist of it is there's legal access to the property.
That would be sufficient, just saying there's legal
Okay.
access. That's a ton of stuff in the
We dug in to make sure we got you guys the appropriate information. I'm happy to read it if you want it on record, but it's also on record in the packet. Okay, I will move on. So staff finds the application to be complete and in compliance with zoning and subdivision codes and recommends a do pass recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. Staff proposes that the Planning and Zoning Commission enter a motion and vote to recommend approval or denial of the requested Christensen Addition major subdivision. Should the Planning and Zoning Commission vote to approve the requested Christensen Addition major subdivision, staff had no additional conditions for this project. And staff also recommends that the motion incorporate all referenced by findings of fact set forth. And then we added the maps that went along with the terminology for the easements. It was a little hard to get on here, so we try to kind of blow it up so you guys could see it a little bit better. That is all I have. If you have any questions, and then the applicants are in, and the agent is in the audience.
I have a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
You showed us the potential roads in, up here it said 2, down here it says 3. Did you leave off Foxborough Trail, or, because that's what it has on our paperwork here.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Christensen, Mr. Christofferson, I keep getting those mixed up. I did not catch that I just saw that actually myself. So
Supposed to be 3.
there are 3 based on all of the easements that we were able to uncover, there are 3 accesses.
So also, at the bottom, you have that potential, that green line. I know that was going to be an easement, but now that Foxborough is usable, I assume that's gonna go away on the plat that they're gonna submit, or?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I believe that is an existing easement that's actually already on there.
So Sabrina, as I understand it, there's access on 3 sides. Happy Glen on the west, Foxborough on the south, and Silver Sage on the east.
That's correct.
And they're all public rights of way, and you can have access anywhere.
So, Mr. Chairman, the specific terminology that we're in all of the easements that we found is that the property was to the heirs, successors, and assigns. So our attorney can speak more to that. She was in those meetings as well. That explains that is legal access.
So the easement was assigned not specifically to a specific parcels, but more to individuals. And so when it says it was to the assignees, they were assigned the easement. It went from the original people who signed the easement to the applicant. So he has an easement. And we had talked about it, and we had talked about like when he gives an easement to them on making sure it runs with the land instead. We typically, our practice today or now is to make it run with the land. It just cleans it up. It gets very confusing when it's to individual people. But as it stands, he does have a legit easement from what we were seeing, so.
So technically, then he would have to assign it to the property and the easement both
Yeah, he can,
because they're separate.
so he has an easement, and so he can grant, or he can give basically an easement on top of his easement. So he can give people permission to use his easement. That makes sense. And so we talked about like when he goes to sell, sell these lots or whatever, just putting it in writing on that he's, basically giving them the right to use his easement.
All right. Any more questions for planning director? Would the applicant like to come up and fill us in on anything that applicant or the applicant's agent like to come up and fill us in on anything we might have overlooked?
Dan Christensen here. Thank you for getting together with us again. No, I think everything's been, it was kind of nice that we did table it. I think there definitely need to be some clarification on the easement coming down Foxborough. So I think we got that. And so I feel very confident and very good that when we sell those other parcels, we'll be able to give that easement in front. That was part of our rationale by putting the green line easement, because we just weren't sure where we were, but we've already put that in there, but we'll be using that Foxborough. So yeah.
Questions for the applicant? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna move into the public hearing. So this is to call an opening for the public hearing on consideration of MS 25-02. That's the Christensen edition. So if you'd like to speak in favor of the application, would you please come forward, give your name and address, and we'd like to hear from you.
Bill Faringer with CEPI, 6080 Enterprise Drive. I guess I would like to just kind of thank the staff at the county for all their help in sorting through all these easements and where we're at. When we submitted the plat, I was sure we had access to all of this, but the fact that it was tabled and we'd spent a lot more additional time researching it and working with planning department, the legal department, the GIS department, and everybody else, it really brought everything to the surface and made it much easier to understand. And so just want to thank them for all their help. And the fact that, we've been able to ascertain that there is access all the way through this. And so I think we appreciate a do pass recommendation. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Looks like we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Holly Christensen, 800 Silver Sage, and thank you for your consideration of passing this. Definitely it will be an advantage, and I appreciate all the time. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the application? Seeing none. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Would you come on up? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none. This is to close the public hearing for consideration of MS 25-02, the Christensen edition. So, P&Z commissioners, we've heard the testimony, we've heard the staff report. Any discussion, any questions, anything else before we move into formal consideration of the case? Chair would entertain a motion for consideration of the case MS 25-02 Christensen edition.
Mr. Chairman, considering all relevant factors, including but not limited to those set forth in the 2013 subdivision regulation of Natrona County, and that the major subdivision meets the general standards required. On that basis, I move to approve MS 25-02 with a due pass recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners with all staff findings of fact incorporated by reference.
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of case MS 25-02, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, it's a unanimous recommendation to have a due pass at the county commissioner meeting, I assume, March 3rd. So you guys get to do it again on March 3rd. Thank you for being here. Next on the agenda is conditional use permit 26-01, Midstream Energy Partners. Midstream is requesting a conditional use permit to allow 2 separate 90,000 gallon LPG tanks. The intention of the project is to relocate the capability of trucking in and out LPG product from Shoshone to Casper facilities for efficiency and blending at the existing Casper terminal. The project is located at 6730 North 6 Mile Road, which is located in the heavy industrial zoning district. So Sabrina, may we have a staff report, please?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, as you mentioned, this is CUP 26-01. A request, the reason we have this conditional use in front of you is for the size of the tanks in the heavy industrial district. Property is located at the end of 6 Mile Road in a heavy industrial area. The minimum lot size for heavy industrial is 2 acres. It is surrounded to the north, east, and south by heavy industrial. To the west is 6 Mile Road and then urban agriculture. As I mentioned, per CUP standards, generally anything over, not generally, but per our regulations, anything over 12,000 gallons, single tank per parcel requires a CUP, even in heavy industrial area, which is why we have this. The applicant provided all of the general criteria in the application and on your report in your packet on how it fits into the area. I won't read through that unless you want me to. Okay, staff findings in the case of CUP 26-01, staff finds the criteria for approval as listed in steps 1 through 7 are met. It will not overburden county services, but will allow Midstream Energy Partners to operate their facility in Natrona County. This use is consistent with the land use plan as it is located in heavy industrial, far away from many businesses and residential areas. The CUP is required per the 2022 zoning resolution as the capacity of the tanks exceeds 12,000 gallons. Chapter 4, Section 4.08.11, storage of flammable or combustible liquids. Section E1, storage of flammable or combustible liquids more than 12,000 gallons is only allowed in districts light industrial, heavy industrial, and airport PUD by a conditional use permit and must comply with international fire regulations. The storage of flammable or combustible liquids more than 12,000 gallons must be located 1,000 feet away from any residence. For planning considerations, staff received the following comments. Natrona County Health Department stated I would defer to the other agencies involved, including EPA, WDEQ, County Fire, and others for proper approval. In the event the facility requires restrooms, we would need to follow the regulations regarding septic system approval or connect to an existing sewage system. Natrona County Fire District is aware of this project and has been a part of the fire safety analysis. They are fine with the project. That fire safety analysis was in your packet, which was a contributing factor of the length of the packet. This approximate location of the tanks, so you can kind of see how far they are from even 6 Mile Road. And then they're approximately 500 feet from 6 Mile. County GIS stated this application is located within the C-Tran subdivision, number 1, lot 3. I did not see the subdivision legal description reference, and I don't know if it's needed or not. It does not appear that the permit plan impacts easements on the property. Perhaps you could provide the C-Tran subdivision number 1 plat to the applicant for their records. YDOT made a comment that they have no comment. The Natrona County Conservation District did not make a comment. And County Road and Bridge stated they reviewed the application and does not see any impact to the county road system. 6 Mile Road was built to handle heavy truck traffic. For public comments, staff sent notices to surrounding neighbors as of the date of this report. So as of the date of this report, staff had not received any written comments. However, after the date of this report and prior to this meeting, so last week, we did receive a written email comment from the airport director that he didn't have any issues with this project and just wanted to send it in writing that the airport had no issues. And then we had another letter that was emailed to you all for your reference on a concerned citizen. She stated she was not against the project, but just some things for you all to consider, she wrote on her letter. This is the tank that was set up in Shoshone, and then they moved to Casper. So staff finds the application for a conditional use permit complete and that the request is in compliance with items 1 through 7 of the approval criteria as shown above. and recommends a do pass recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. Staff proposes that the Planning and Zoning Commission enter a motion and vote to recommend approval or denial of the requested conditional use permit. Should the Planning and Zoning Commission vote to approve the requested conditional use permit, staff have no additional conditions for this project, and staff also recommend that the motion incorporate our reference all findings of fact set forth. And the applicant is here and would like to expand a little bit on their project.
Good evening. I have a bit of a cold tonight, so I have a cough drop. I hope that's all right. Okay. My name is Colin McFeetris. I'm the terminal manager for Midstream Energy here in Casper. My assistant Ross Susik is going to speak first on a little bit of background.
Hello, thanks for having us. My name is Ross Susik. I'm the assistant manager for the Midstream Energy Partners Casper location. I want to give a little background of Midstream Energy. Midstream Energy was founded in 2018 by executives that have been in the energy industry since the mid 80s. We now have 39 locations across the US and Canada. All of Midstream's locations have been in the business of safe handling, transporting, and storing liquefied petroleum gas products. The tanks that we're talking about now were in Shoshone, and they were used for offloading rail cars into the tanks, and then they were loading trucks to ship out of Shoshone, and it was all LPG product. The operation shut down, and we needed to move the tanks off the leased property. We would like to put these tanks to use for blending butane into our pipeline. The purpose of blending is to lower the viscosity of our oil to target a more desirable blend of oil for our customers. The butane will be shipped by rail car into our facility, transferred to a truck that will deliver the butane to the two 90,000 gallon tanks. The tanks will inject the butane into our pipeline. All of this will be self-contained within our existing site. This will not add any traffic to any roadway. We will meet or exceed the liquid petroleum gas code NFPA 58 for the safe storage, handling, transportation, and use of LPG to prevent fires or explosions. We do not expect to put any additional constraints on the fire department. And the nearest residence is roughly 3,200 feet away, which is over half a mile. We are nearly 3,800 feet from the corn maze. All precautionary measures have and will be taken to ensure the safe transfer of product within our system to minimize the hazards of life and environment. And from there, I will pass this off to Colin to explain how we plan to meet or exceed all safety and regulatory requirements. Thank you.
So this project was engineered to be a very safe project. It was designed by Fortress Engineering out of Canada. We are in the process of getting a Wyoming engineering company to review all the drawings and piping to make sure that it meets all their standards here. But there's several safety analysis that needed to be done. And we're going to be not just overseen by the county or the fire department here. We're also going to be overseen by WDEQ for air quality, and we've applied for an additional permit to add on to the permit we already have for our facility. We have 650,000 gallon tanks of crude oil, so nearly 1 million gallons of crude oil. So we meet all the air quality permits for that. This facility is a closed loop system, so there's virtually no fumes, gases that are going to come off. The only thing that's going to be is when you disconnect the hose from the truck and reconnect it to the tanks. And Trinity Consultants, who is our consultant for air quality, has done a study on that and has sent it off to the WDEQ for approval for that. We're in the process of implementing a PSM program, which is a process safety management program. We need to have this for this facility, and that's overseen by OSHA. So they're going to be watching us too. And this is protects the workers. It just looks at the processes and hazards associated with the process and what could go wrong and what needs to be implemented to prevent a release or accident. Then there's our RMP, Risk Management Plan. The EPA oversees this. This program protects the community and environment, and this acts as a stopgap for potential risk by identifying the risk events. And then we have the FSA Fire Safety Analysis, which the fire department has looked at, and along with this report. But one of the things it requires is, do we have the minimum amount of gallons of water available in case there is a fire? Minimum amount of gallons is 1,500 gallons per minute. We have 3 fire hydrants from 600 feet, 800 feet, and 2,800 feet away that all supply 1,500 gallons of water per minute. They're color-coded blue, so everyone knows that associated with the fire department that they can get that amount of money, water out of each hydrant. On top of all those people watching us and scrutinizing what we're doing, we have PSV, pressure safety valves, we have flow, gas, and flame detections, as well as breakaway connections. So we've looked at everything that could possibly go wrong humanly and environmentally, if you will, and have safeguarded against that. And like Sabrina said, the fire department has reviewed and approved those measures. The company who's doing the building for us is a well-known local company, Granite Peak Energy Services. They've been doing this for a long time, and they have said several times to me that what Granite Peak is, what Fortress Engineering has done is much more stringent than what we would ever need here. And I can attest to that because we've gone through hoops and things for them. But it's been a great project, and we hope that you give it the okay. Any questions?
Questions for the applicant?
Mr. Chair, I just have a question about, since the size of the tanks kind of triggered the conditional use permit or the requirement for an additional use permit, conditional use permit, I'm just curious, I don't think I saw it stated anywhere, why 90,000 gallons or why 90,000 gallon tanks. I know you're transferring it over from Shoshone, but just for the record, it might be good to state, why you need that size since it is triggering the conditional.
That mainly was the only reason. We had them in Shoshone. They belong to MEP, and instead of buying new tanks, they decided to relocate them down here. We're going to be injecting it into our pipelines at a 4% rate, which is less than what is required. And most of our outbound pipelines are 30,000 to 60,000 barrels total. It won't take very long to go through a 90,000 gallon tank. So then we have a second one for a backup.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just have a little bit of background. I'm in the business of transporting LPGs. I think I have 120 or plus trailers. So some of our customers have gotten in trouble by doing this type of thing because you're either increasing the gravity or lessening the gravity of the crude oil by injecting butane. So what is the rate that you can do that without getting in trouble? You said it's less.
Yeah, you can go up, it's 5 or 6%, and we're at 4%. But it's something that our customers down the line are requesting. Our oil comes out of Canada, and it's a thick sour crude, although we do have some sweet crude. But the sour crude goes on further down to Guernsey and such, and they're wanting a different blend. So injecting this butane to it will give them that, and then they can add it to whatever they're doing with it.
Yeah, and a 12,000 gallon tank isn't that big. I have trailers that are 13.5, just that you pull behind a truck. So
Yeah.
about anything you set out there was going to have to come before this committee.
Right.
So I have, go ahead.
Just one more question, and I know this is a big operation, so I'm sure this is done, but I did not see Midstream Energy in any of the title documents. I'm assuming y'all have a lease or the authority, obviously, to do this. I could have misread it, but I'm just asking the question.
Well, yeah, well, it's Casper Terminal Center,
Okay.
owned by Midstream Energy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry,
Okay. That's all right.
I never saw the paperwork.
Nope, no problem. We're doing our due diligence. That's all.
Right.
So I've kind of followed that site out there for a number of years, just things I've had to do out there. I noticed the oil tanks, and I think you may have made reference to, it looks like maybe those are under construction, or one is under construction, or
Not at our
they look
facility.
like million-gallon tanks, or,
They're 150,000 barrel tanks.
okay.
So we have nearly 1 million gallons in crude oil out there. They were built back in 2014, so they've been there that long. Now, 3 of them are insulated, so they have the corrugated insulation around there, and 3 don't. So maybe that's what you're saying, that it looks like they're not finished, but at the time, that's what the customers wanted. They wanted their tanks either insulated or not insulated.
Okay, so, yeah, I hadn't noticed those tanks before, so. Shows how long it's been since I've been out there, 10 years. I think there was one thing in the staff report that I wished would have been maybe a little bit more vocal. And that is we have in hand from the Natrona County Fire Department an email that says they're happy with what's been done. We've had these in the past, and they've been perhaps a bit controversial, and the fire department's gotten involved. Here, it looks like the fire department's been involved. Mr. Oliver, I guess it was, and Mr. Cody, yeah. So, from what I read, they're happy with what you guys are doing.
Yes. And it was done by a third party, Transtech, out of Wyoming, that did the FSA.
All right, any more questions for the applicant?
And just one more clarification. I think the packet mentioned, or the application mentioned, or their analysis mentioned that it would take the fire department about 19 minutes to get there. And the recommendation is somewhere around 10 minutes.
Correct.
But because of the safety features, and I think you mentioned some of those, that you feel confident that there would be some early warning, or the fire department. I'm assuming there's some automation involved. I think,
Our valves are all air operated, and they're a fail close system, so that if anything goes wrong, it closes all the valves. But we have gas and flow and flame sensors throughout the place, so that it'll sense anything that goes wrong there. There is also manual ESD buttons to push if the operator at there sees something else other than what's accounted for.
is the fire department automatically notified, or is there some automation there? I guess it's,
No, we would have to call them.
okay.
And that's monitored in your pipeline control center.
Yes, sir. Yeah, which is right across the tracks from where this is.
Are you going to be having your own pumps for offloading the transports, or you're going to expect the trucks to?
It's our own truck,
Okay.
and it has a pump on it, and it's a closed loop system. We have a transloader that was built specifically for us, and it will offload the rail car, and it has its own pump on there, and load it into the truck. And then when the truck gets to the tank, which is right across the tracks, then you use the pump on the truck to pump it into the pressurized tanks.
Anything else for the applicant? You guys might want to stay in there for just a couple more minutes.
Mhm.
We're going to move into the public hearing phase. So this is to open the public hearing for consideration of conditional use permit 26-01, the Midstream Energy Partners application. All those in favor of the project, would you come forward and give us your name and address, please? And that would be you. Yeah.
Ross Susick, 6740 Whiskey Gap Road, Casper, Wyoming, 82604. I think that this would be a good project for advancing our company in the oil industry around town, and I am in approval, or I approve it.
Colin McFeatures, 1250 Country Road, Country Club Road, Casper, Wyoming, 82609. I also am for this project. It's a great way for this terminal to grow more and allow actually put more people to work. So I'm for it.
Okay. All right, being formal, anyone else in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the application? Seeing none. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Would you come forward? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, this is to close the public hearing for conditional use permit 26-01. And you gentlemen can sit down if you'd like. So, any further discussion? Okay.
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman. It seems like everything has been mostly covered here. I think the risks have been, mitigated to a big extent. I'll be voting to approve it. I don't have anything to add. Any questions?
I might add that the concerned citizen that wrote the letter, I believe the name's Bishop, that was in our email. It seems with all the number of public agencies that are involved, from EPA to DEQ to OSHA to whomever else, I think that's a good showing, and the fire department. That's a good showing. I hope that will make that individual satisfied with what we're doing today to forward on to the county commissioners. If there's no more discussion, the chair would entertain a motion for consideration of the application.
Considering all relevant factors, including but not limited to those set forth in the 2022 zoning resolution of Natrona County, I find that the conditional use permit meets the general standards required. On that basis, I move to approve CUP 2601 with all staff findings of fact incorporated by reference.
I'd second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussions, questions? But seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor of approval of conditional use permit 26-01 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, we have a unanimous recommendation for due pass to the county commissioners. I don't know if it's the same March 3rd date. You guys gonna have to make another trip down here. Do appreciate you guys coming down for your own project. It's disconcerting when we have applications and we have to come down here and then the applicant doesn't show up, and it happens on occasion. So thank you guys. All right. Next on the agenda is public comment. Do you have anything for us, Skipper?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, at this time, we don't have anything for March. We might have something come up this week or next, so I'll let you know. We have a couple things pending, but nothing scheduled at this time, so I'll let you know.
Okay.
And I know Mr. Christopherson, you were not going to be here in March, so, okay.
All right. Anything else? Communications? Nothing? All right. Chair would entertain a motion for adjournment.
That motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?